Hi, I'm Kent. My kiln just finished a glaze firing. Let's look inside. So my kiln controller says that my kiln has cooled down, at least the air inside has cooled down enough that we can open it up and start pulling out pots. Let's see if the pots and the kiln shelves are cool enough as well. I'm going to be pulling out some pots that have some separate videos. I will point those out as I go along. If you're interested, go and check out those videos as well. For the pots that don't have videos on, I'll talk a little bit more about here. All right, let's open it up. So I'm going to pull out some of the easier pots first. This one here is mushroom with clear on top. I did some pots like this before and I recreated them again. This is my medium-sized planter. And next I made several pots like this. This has floating blue on the bottom and the floating white with just the titanium in the top. And these came out really interesting. Give you a better view. So I used a tape resist. So I put down the blue first, and then I put on tape, then I put on the clear, or it's a little bit of a white actually, and then pulled it back off. I got this really stark effect this time. Normally I fire my kiln to cone 6. This time I fired it to 5.5. I have a lot of Joe Thompson's glaze recipes from Old Forge Creations, and I decided that I would follow his kiln firing schedule as well and see if that made a difference. I think for these floating glazes it definitely did. Sounds really cool. And then I made a bunch of smaller ones as well that I've turned into candles previously. So there's a half dozen. I did these slightly differently than this one. This one actually used a wax resist and had this kind of interesting pattern. One of the cool things is you actually feel the different texture as well on the side of the pot. It goes up and down. So those turned out well. There's a few more bigger ones towards the bottom. Since I'm talking about the firing temperature, here are the cones. So cone 5, cone 6, and cone 7. Cone 5 was all the way down. We're past cone 5. Cone 6 was starting to go. So I think we hit cone 5.5 just fine. Cone 7 doesn't look like it's moved much at all. So that's good. I had retuned my kiln's PID values to try and get it to fire a lot better, and I think I'm nailing the temperatures much better now. All right, I have a separate video on this one. I think it turned out well. So this one I was trying using a paper stencil. This glaze went on really thick, and when it goes on thick, it fires this kind of cloudy white. It's an interesting effect. Check out that video for more details. Next up are two different tests that I did with two different glazes. First, I'll pull out the pots that have oxides in a clear base glaze. So I put these in a particular order so I know which one's which. So first I have pots with cobalt on the bottom. So that's this one, and this one. And then they have different things on top. So this one has manganese on top, rutile, and copper. Put notes in here so I don't forget which one's which. Those all look relatively blue. This one that didn't go on quite as well on the bottom. I think that's an application error. Next up is copper on the bottom. So copper on the bottom with manganese on top. And with rutile on top. And I lost the pot, so I went ahead and did a test tile to replace the one. So this is with cobalt on top. Next are the ones with rutile on the bottom, and this one has manganese on top. That one's actually a really cool combo. Copper on top, and the cobalt on top. And then finally, the ones with manganese on the bottom. This one has rutile on top. You can't really see that at all. Copper on top. That one's actually really cool. It turned like an earth tone. And can you guess? Cobalt on top. And again, like it's a really interesting combo. All right, so let me rearrange these. These next tests here are a commercial glaze I got for the first time. So this is a blue. This one I put a clear glaze on top, and this one I double dipped in the glaze itself, so it's much thicker. This one's got a really cool matte finish to it. clear, and the double dipped. And this one started to run, and that's foreshadowing, unfortunately. So this one is again the clear, and I thought that did something really cool. Unfortunately, this one, I don't think you can see from there. Oh yeah, welded its shelf to the bottom. So it looks like I broke the corner of the pot and got some drippy drippies. However, this is really cool. So a little less glaze next time, but it's got a really cool surface finish and a really cool, yeah, this one's awesome. And again, this one is Tahitian. It got a little thick. It looks like I got some bubbling on the bottom. This one was clear on top. Actually made an interesting color contrast. So a little lighter in there, and the inside is really cool. So this is clear on top. This is with the clear on the bottom, since I can glaze all the insides with clear. That was really cool. And unfortunately, this one really stuck. I don't know if I can get it off. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. So got some lava at the bottom, and yeah, chipped the pot again. Cool glaze. Need to put it on less thick and less of it next time. That kiln shelf is not too hot. And this other kiln shelf, I'm going to need to clean. Here's the carnage. Actually, it's not too bad. And I am seeing these for the very first time. The top ones I peeked. All right, so let's start with this one. This is another one of the brown and clear. I think it turned out well. So a cousin to this one over here. I had a couple of pots that didn't make it into my last glaze firing, so I got them in this time. If you look back several videos to my last glaze firing, I had some bigger pots like this. These are bowls. And they're a little toasty. This one's black and clear. So here's the floating blue glaze all by itself. So this one is purple and clear. I did some in my last kiln firing that were similar to this. So I wanted to do a few more. Basically just took the purple glaze and dripped it down while I was upside down, and then coated the whole thing with clear. All right, this one has another video on it. I got some underglazes for the first time, and I wanted to try them out. So I basically made a rainbow pattern. And then the bottom I left unglazed. So this is just the raw clay and the raw underglaze, and the top I glazed with the clear. I want to see how they would look together. And then I used an underglaze pencil to mark the number of coats, so 2, 3, 4. So basically just a test piece. I have a few pots that I wanted to refire, since I didn't like the surface finish the first time around. So I dipped all of these in the cobalt floating glaze, and this one is better for sure. This one still has a really weird surface finish. I had Joe's matte glaze, and I don't know, something's wrong with it. Either I mixed it up wrong, or I don't know. There's a problem either way, and I haven't figured out exactly what it is. So that one actually I don't think is too much better. It's got this weird kind of, yeah, bubbly surface. It's better, but it's still not quite there. Could also be this clay body is just messing up with things. This has a lot of iron in it. However, when I did this on other pots, I had similar problems. I was playing with forms a little bit, and so I did this one. It's two of my pots that I merged together, so it's a double pot. This side has the floating cobalt, and this side has copper. I have very few coasters for my pots, so I decided to go ahead and make some. These are just raw clay. So these are slip cast like everything else. This is actually a bottom of another mold that I have that I'm still trying to figure out. So I can take a planter and put on top and catch the water. Next up are my Lego pots. I have another video detailing this, but I made some pots using Legos. This one here has yellow underglaze on the top and then black underglaze on the bottom. Yellow on top and black on the bottom. I didn't glaze this one, it's just the raw underglaze, so it's a bit rough. Glaze inside clear. So there's one Lego pixel pot. I did one just in clear. That one's pretty cool as well, tiny little pot. The last one I did in the same brown I used for the other pots. And it ran down the inside. That's actually a cool effect as well. I guess it's similar to my other pots. And that is that shelf. All right, let's take out the furniture. All right, let's check out the last shelf. It may be too hot to pull out. We'll see. No, it's not too bad. These all look pretty good. They're kind of more of the same, but bigger. So first we'll start with the smaller ones. I just use these to fill in. And these are more reglazed pots. So kind of similar to the ones I pulled out already. Oh, looks like I got a little bit of a drip. But I think I saved a couple of those pots. A couple more coasters that I squeezed in. And then here is the same brown and clear combo. Bigger pot. And the same thing. This one's got much more brown on it. Ooh, they're getting warm. So this is my biggest mold at the moment. It's crazy how much these things shrink. So just for comparison, this is bone dry, and then this is the one that is pulled out. And it's noticeably smaller. And of course, it's already shrunk some from being wet clay, pulling it out of the mold. All right, I did lots more of the purple striped ones. Again, this is the big mold. So there's one. So cousin to this guy. Move this one around. Another. And then one more. I'm going to go double decker here, I think. Another of the blue with the stripes in it that I did with the tape. So these two are a pair, both planters. Everything big is a planter. And then two more blue ones, and that's it. This one here, and the big one. I use thicker tape on this one. And this one. All right, that is one successful kiln firing. Luckily, only those two stuck on the top, and they weren't too bad. I lost the pots, but I should be able to clean out the shelf relatively easily. Let me reposition you, and we can go through these one more time. All right, I can't quite get everything in frame, but here are all the pots. So I have a half dozen of these small ones that I'm going to turn into candles that have the floating blue as the base, and then a floating white on the top. I have one that's straight up floating blue that has this star effect in it, which is really cool. Two of these small planters, same effect. And then two of the large ones. In terms of themes, I have this brown with the clear over it. These are my medium planters, a pair of the larger ones. One of the purple stripes of the medium planter. And apparently I did three of the large ones. My underglaze test hiding out over here. My experiment with forms, merging together two pots. Some bowl planters that didn't make it from last time. One, two. Some reglazes. I think I saved maybe two or three of these. My tiny Lego pots, which are really cool. And then last but not least, two different glaze tests. Ones that ran, but dang, this is an awesome glaze. It's really cool. And then the ones where I have Joe's base glossy glaze where I added different oxides too. So that's something like 45 pots, plus a test tile and my little coasters. It was a very full kiln. I can't believe this kiln was even larger originally. That would have been crazy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And let me know which one's your favorite. Thanks.